Thanks, Program Director, and thanks to Peko for inviting us, and we're privileged to be here today, and I appreciate it. You know, normally when you go to speak in front of the audience, it's normally better in church because once when you want to calm your nerves, you start a song, you sing. And in most cases, about 60% of the people, they will be able to sing with you. But I doubt if maybe I can start a song, maybe 10% will be able to follow. I'm not meaning anything, but I doubt, but maybe let me just start by something else. Maybe let me start first, before I get to my presentation, with the current market situation that we are faced with within the company as such. I'm glad that I've managed to attend some of the presentations that we had this morning, which were very important, and I'm glad I did that. So I realized that the challenges that we have, it's not only us as Jabatha, but it is the whole country that is faced with those kind of problems. And I always believe that if we are together and we've got one vision, not for the individual, but for the whole country and for the whole market, we will be able to achieve what we're faced with. The time has passed whereby everyone will just think about his own family or your own environment, but it's time now that we need to think globally. We need to think bigger than our family. With regards to us as Jabatha, maybe just before I even get to the presentation, our stand is next to you, the first on the right-hand side, as you go inside to the exhibition center. It is you will never miss it. It's the biggest stand. It is the biggest stand. It's a fact. It's the biggest stand, and then yet we are definitely the smallest company. I'll tell you exactly why we chose the biggest stand, and then why we are small, but we want to grow bigger. But with you, I'm sure that we'll be able to grow bigger. There are challenges, but I'm told that we need to embrace those challenges so that we'll be able to get to the next level. This is what has been said today, and we are the one who want to do those kind of things. That is why at Jabatha, when we started, I'm sure those people who knows us from the beginning is that there were only two products that we were supplying at that time. We started the company in 2003, and it was only paper and stationery that we're supplying. The reason why we started with paper and stationery, it was purely because one of the partner in the business, the member, Jabatha, she's a teacher by profession, and myself, I spent about 18 years in the paper business. So that is where we started by saying it's paper and stationery, because I will bring my expertise, and she will also bring her expertise, operating from one of our back room, and then eventually we got out of that. But now, as the company grows, you need to allow the company to grow as long as you can control those growth in the company. That is why, to date, we've got about 6 different divisions within the company. There's paper, there's stationery, there's facility management, there's office automation. Let me just pass the corporate furniture. There's a printing solution. So the one I've just passed now, which is the furniture, is the division in which I will put more emphasis on that division because it's quite complicated and there's quite a lot of things that are happening in the furniture business. You know, when selling paper, the universities, what they want is the paper at the right price, and the paper must be available. We've done that. Together with the stationery, we've done that. We bought it from Monday and Sapi, and then we sold, everything was all right. We employed more people, we bought the warehouse and all those kind of things. And the other items as well in the other division. But now, in the furniture side, you cannot be a manufacturer, but you need to align yourself with a very reputable company in a manufacturing business. But even that, it's still not sufficient because even your opposition are buying from the same company and they sell to the same market, then eventually you suffer. So that is why I thought maybe just before we go there, let me just indicate to you how difficult and how easy it can be as a consumer to your side if maybe we pay more attention to that. In the furniture business, just maybe the stats, it will show there as I'm talking along, that we've got about 17,000 people working in the furniture business. I'm talking about the employees, 17,000 people, yeah. And we've got quite a lot of companies. But now, in the last 2 years, it shows that quite a lot of companies have closed down. The reason why those companies closed down is purely because of the imports. I'm not too sure whether as South African, as much as we talk about the local, and we're using local as lekker, Mzansi, Adlesa, all those kind of things, do we really do those kind of things? And unfortunately, the trend, not me, but the trend shows that we are actually not as South African. But now, that is a dangerous trend because that is not a trend that is going at the level or going up, but is going down. That is why at some stage you saw some sort of, I don't even want to mention the name, but it happened, unfortunately, xenophobia, which was obviously the people from abroad and the South African fighting. And if you actually go to the actual thing that what they're fighting for, it's merely of greediness as South African. Like for instance, if you go, let me just give you one typical example. If you go to the squatter camps where there were spaza shops, those spaza shops are no longer owned by the South African. They are owned by the people coming either from Zimbabwe or from the other countries. But because now you're becoming jealous as an owner, then somebody else owns the shop, then you want to, to defeat or to get rid of that particular person. So it started there. And eventually it's going to go here because now the people are getting retrenched on a daily basis. Eventually those people will be on the street and those people will need to survive as everybody wants to survive. So those are the kinds of elements that as South African we need to look at. So in the furniture, people are being retrenched, companies are being closed down because the people, corporates, even the government department at some stage, they're buying the imports instead of supporting the local manufacturer. We need to take care of that. The local manufacturer, there's so many benefits which I'll indicate that we can get as people, as corporate or as government department. One other thing that I would also like to mention to you is that, once when you are a small company, once when the market is tough, you are the first one to feel the heat because obviously there's no mommy or papi who's waiting for you to support you. Your support is upon your shoulders and upon the staff. So you need to make sure that whatever you're doing is the right thing that will take you to another level or it will sustain you. So let me be honest with you. To sustain a company in nowadays is extremely difficult. Is extremely difficult. Because, like for instance, a small company, most people will expect you to be loose, not to be ethical. Ethics, when talking about ethics, it's quite a huge word that, every day you are faced with ethics. That how do you conduct yourself? What you do? I'll just give you one example. In Jabatha, what we are doing is that we've got an independent body which is actually monitoring. Is an HR, is not employed by Jabatha, is an outside company, which looks at our ethics, everybody in Jabatha, and how we conduct ourselves. If we have put a policy, that policy needs to be followed. I'll give you an example. Right here now at this conference, we've got a policy of saying you need to go to all the stand before you can get a stamp. It's some sort of a procedure that we've put through, and they know that we need to follow those kind of things. And so sometimes, it's becoming difficult when somebody that he comes and says, no, I need 3 stamps, I need 1 stamp, So now you start off breaking those rules that you've put. So the reason why I'm saying this is that please work through with us to make sure that we follow the procedure that you have put through as the university, so that we as Jabatha will be able to follow that. That's the kind of people that we are. We are very strong when it comes to that. Now, when it comes to the other issue of the mental toughness which we are faced with, that is some of the things that we need to be strong at to make sure that we're tough. In the corporate furniture business, as I indicated, that the local, which we are, the furniture that we align to ourselves with, is we actually make the furniture from the beginning up until the end, we as Jabatha. So if you're buying from us, you must know that you are buying a furniture that is made in South Africa, a furniture that has got sustainability. If you buy this month, you will get it maybe in 6 months' time, the same thing, as opposed to the import. There is no volatility of the rand or the currency that is going to disturb you. That we quote you today, when you come in 6 months' time, the very same product that you're asking for, it's now 30% more than what you paid about 2 months ago. That is the import. But in the imports, you'll do that. And you'll never be able to get sustainability. So at our case now, because we are buying and we've got the designers in a house, in the furniture sector, where we can come to your office and make sure that what you are asking for, it's really will be able to be suitable for your office. Those are the kind of things that we are doing. So please, on our side, have a look at the samples that we've made there. So the dollar exchange will not affect the price that we quoted you a month before. And again, that is our threat, the import, because as much as you can talk, the people that are still very conscious on the price. They just look at the price. If something comes from Asia and is far cheaper than the local one, the people tend to go that, but not thinking in the long term to say that, will I be able to get the same product in the longer term? And I indicated the number of the companies that closed down in the last 2 years. 19 companies closed down with the people. So we've got about 17,000 people in the furniture business. So we need to start, I need your help to make sure that we sustain and we build this sector. As long as we are supplying you with a good quality product and we sustain that. These are the kind of machine that we're using in the country, which is called CNC machine. You put a board, it rolls the board, then once when the board comes over there, the cluster is made. The only thing that you do is to lock. There is an edging machine whereby you go at the corners to make sure that exactly your product is, the edges, the edge are properly being managed or properly being molded according to the standard. So you can never question the quality and the standard of the local furniture that is made as opposed to the furniture which is just for interim, which you can import either to China or to wherever. No offense, but please, good people, local, let's call it local is lekker because we are using our local furniture and we employed the people of South Africa and we don't compromise on the quality that will supply to you. And sometimes, if you need something to be changed in a certain way, we are there to change it because we are at your doorsteps at all the times. I thank you.